All right, so now we have the second set of the UGSRC presidential aspirants. Once again, my name is Bismarck Nabi and I'm your host. I'm here with
Leticia Dimekumesi
and
Nkonimadom Leticia.
So these are the names of the second batch of the UGSRC presidential aspirants. Now we are here to have short or a few discussions as to how their vetting process went, and we will take it from there. So I guess you are the aspiring president,
Yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
And kindly you are the vice.
Yes.
So I would start with this. What led to this very pair? Because you had a lot of options.
So the main reason in relation to this pair, of course, maybe it wasn't the first pair that was thought of, but we look forward to what exactly we could have as a niche, a new pair that people hadn't spoken of, and a pair that people didn't expect in the very first place. Because you notice that she's the only female aspirant in this particular race, and that in itself is a means to sell a certain message of inclusivity regardless of the gender that people have, and in essence what exactly she has to offer the university body in as much as she's a lady. So she's one that is known to be a sign language interpreter. That's something that you don't often see people do on the University of Ghana campus. Someone like her with this skill and with her ambition to be the only lady to be as resilient as she was is one that actually pushed me to actually have this pair in the very first place.
That's great. So this is why you chose Miss Leticia as your pair. So now that you've come together as a unit, let's say one team, do you have any mantra you work along with that is easy for everyone to easily identify?
Yes, we do, and that's the one leg on.
So that you are strictly one leg, or that's your mantra?
Yes, please.
Okay. So now that you are a unit or a team, you just went for the vetting together. If I may ask, how were your feelings or what were your expectations before you went in for the vetting?
I was expecting very difficult questions because of the kind of office that we are aspiring to be in. But I think the questions did live up to expectations. But I believe because we did have adequate preparations and we did have a goal and a vision to achieve in the long run, we were able to meet the questions to a very good standard in the very first place.
That's fine. Do you side with him?
Yes, I do.
So now you are out of the vetting room. What are your feelings now after the vetting, or maybe still expectations?
Well, this experience is a beautiful one, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to be part of it. But one question I was also expecting them to ask, as we individuals wanting to be the UGSRC president, they should have asked us the reason why we want this position or to run for that portfolio. That was one question I was expecting on my side, but I didn't get.
So you mean you didn't get any question as such?
I personally did have that question thrown at me, but she didn't have that question.
Okay, so kind of they were being thrown. Oh, that's fine. So let me ask, what motivated you to man up for this big course? Because it's not easy, that's the truth.
So if people have followed me for a very long time, they know that I'm an open speaker who doesn't hide the truth in any situation. So in that particular sense, I've been speaking of the narrative that exists about the SRC, where student leaders are seen to be people who cannot be trusted with funds. They are people who do not have an existential impact in mind. And I believe that these are things that if you really have the students at heart, it should be easy for you to implement in the very first place. Because if you have students at heart, you're going to appropriate their funds into the right things in the very first place. Secondly, you're going to ensure that you have a plan that is sustainable enough. And so because I saw these two things being missing when it comes to the narrative that I have about student leaders, it pushed me to go on with this vision and resilience that I have to achieve this in the long run.
That's great. So now that you've paired, that means you are in line with what he's saying. Is that true?
Yes, our vision, our individual vision and aim for the SRC aligned, and that makes us the right pair.
One leg on.
One leg on.
That's right. Next to ask, after knowing your motivation, what is that one special thing? Maybe the masses call it a legacy, an imprint, what it could be. What is that one thing that you have at heart that today, tomorrow, God willing, should you get the chance, which I wish you the very best, what is that one thing you have at heart to do as an imprint or a legacy for your colleague students of the University of Ghana?
That is going to build a long-term structure for the University of Ghana Student Representative Council that spans across the most pertinent issues that we are facing, such as accommodation, welfare, student experience, and everything in relation to clarity and openness from the student leaders.
That's right. Miss Leticia, is there anything you'd want to add to what he has said?
It's fine for now.
It's fine for now. So, after that, I would also ask, are there some pressing problems or challenges you've identified, maybe one or two, that you could tell us to let the ordinary students that is watching you know that you have them at heart?
Yes, thank you. One pressing issue I found on campus is students not being represented well in terms of their creative life and what they do on campus. As part of our policy, we are bringing the skill up week to help students showcase their various talent and also get mentorship training for those talent.
That's commendable. I would take one from you, please.
I think that's the main thing we're looking forward to drive a certain level of innovation among students to solve problems we are facing on campus. Not just look forward to external individuals, but look forward to students to solve the issues we are facing on campus in relation to a very good example. That's past questions, accessibility, which always is from their friends or the BAM library sites, which these two are not so sustainable. That's how come a student has been able to help us develop a steady bot that gives them access to past questions on WhatsApp. That basically shows that people are not just learning things that are not practical in school, but they can actually practice them provided they are pushed to do them. We're going to look forward to innovation among students on campus.
So the last thing I would like to ask is, you are entering into an office, someone is in there already, and someone came before the current one is, and before you would want to continue. Is there anything you've identified as a loophole that you would really want to work on, or an add-on that you think he has done and it's really well, you would want to improve it to be better?
So, in both senses, I do have things to say. What I believe should be improved is a level of clarity that students can have on campus. So there's a whole issue of the students receiving SIM cards which were labeled as free in quotes, and in the end they have to pay 122 cedis, 0.64 pesos. Now, people believe that if they had known it was not free, they wouldn't have gone in for those SIM cards because they can purchase data on their own and better bundles with that same amount of money. So if we're able to be open enough to tell them that there's a fee attached to it, I believe students would have appreciated that truly there's some truth that can exist. But the things that administrations have done that we are actually looking forward to continue are things like the construction of boreholes in hostels, where there are water crises that people are facing. We believe that this is something that is sustainable and we can actually emulate in the long run.
I think these are commendable points I would commend you on. So, for the questions, I think I'm done. But then, there is a University of Ghana student watching you out there at the moment. How do you convince him? What would you tell the person so that they get okay and fine with your policies and all that, so that on the D-Day you will have their votes to assume office as the next president and vice respectively? So can you Great.
As part of the One Legon agenda and inclusivity at its best, I'm communicating to those that can listen and hear, but she's communicating to those who cannot in that particular regard. We're looking forward to build a structure that has been explicitly stated for every single administration to effectively contribute to, so that the SRC has its own goals and achievements within a certain span of time, whether 5 or 10 years, that every administration would actively work towards to achieving. In that sense, there's no selfish ambition to do things on your own because you're all working towards the interests of the SRC. We've listed the policies, we've put them down, and we're ready to justify them every time we're being called upon. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Legonites, it's Nkonimadom and Leticia for the UGSRC presidency, One Legon agenda. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Mr. Presidential Aspirant. Thank you so much, Miss Vice Presidential Aspirant. I wish you the very best of luck in your SRC journey. Ladies